This video is on a specific grammar point that is there is or there are. What is there is, there are? How to use it? How not to use it? All these questions we are going to answer in this video. And if you're ready, let's get started right now. Specifically, we are going to learn today how to use this construction with the examples in a hotel. So we can learn together a new grammar construction and some expressions that you can use next time you travel, or maybe if you decide to work in a hotel. We use there is or there are when we want to say that something exists or that something is present in a location. Let's look at some examples. For example, we can use it to describe a city. So for example, in a city, there are many parks. And in a park, there are buildings. There are trees. There are people. Also, we can use this structure if you talk about an apartment. For example, there are many apartments in a building. There is an AC in an apartment. There is a TV. There is a sofa. There's a window, and many other things as well. Also, we can use this expression when we describe a hotel or a room in a hotel. There are many rooms in a hotel. There are lamps in this hotel room. There's a bed, there's a sofa, there's a window, and some other things. In this particular video, we are going to be looking at hotel vocabulary and hotel expressions to learn how to use there is and there are correctly. As we just saw in these examples, the word that we say after there is or there are is about something new, something indefinite. For example, we said there are lamps in this hotel room. Probably that was new information for a person who was asking what things are there in the hotel room, right? Indefinite new information. Before we look at more examples, I would like to point out one important thing. We have two different forms, there is and there are. So probably we need to know when and how to use each of them. Let's learn it. Probably you could guess that there is used when we talk about a singular thing, is. And there are we use when we talk about plural things. Every time you say there is one thing, one person, one animal, we use there is. And when you say there are two or more things, people, animals, we use there are. Here's our first example. There is. So the next word is a singular noun. And in this case, we have there is a guest in the lobby. There is a guest in the lobby. Can you guess what we have here? Singular, right? So we have there is a big pool in this hotel. There is a minibar in every room. Now let's look at some plural examples. We have here towels. So we would say there are many towels in the bathroom. Or we can talk about people and we say there are some people at the front desk, at the reception of the hotel. Also, we can talk about floors, right? And we say there are 6 floors in this hotel. I would like you to be aware of a couple of important things. First of all, the word people in English is a plural noun. It's always plural. When we decide whether we should use there is or there are, we use there are when we talk about people. There are people. For example, there are people waiting outside. And if you mention one singular thing, and then another thing, in total, we have 2 things, right? Or more. We say there are a bed and a sofa in every room. We don't look at just first thing. We look at both of them, a bed and a sofa. So it's 2 things. So we say there are. Let's see if you clearly understand how to use there is or there are in English. Here are a couple of questions for you to test your knowledge. A or B? There's towels in the bathroom. There are towels in the bathroom. A or B? If needed, pause the video and choose your answer. 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is B. There are towels in the bathroom. Towels is plural, so we use there are. There is a gift for you on the bed. There are a gift for you on the bed. A or B? 3, 2, 1, and it is A. There is a gift for you on the bed. One gift, so it's a singular noun, that's why we use there is. There's a minibar and a chair in your room. There are a minibar and a chair in your room. A or B? 3, 2, 1, and it is B. There are a minibar and a chair in your room. Here we have two nouns, minibar and chair. So two things. It's plural, it's not one. That is why we say there are a minibar and a chair. And last one. There's people at the pool. There are people at the pool. 3, 2, 1. And it is, of course, B. There are people at the pool. As we know, people is a plural word in English, so we always say people are. So there are people at the pool. From now on, in this video, we are going to look at some common mistakes that people make when they try to talk about something that exists in the world. There are a few particular words that most Spanish speakers use when they talk about situations like this. Let's make sure that you are not repeating the same mistakes. First one is have. So let's see when we use have and when we use there is or there are. Sometimes they both can be used, but in other times, just one of them can be used. Let's learn it in detail. So when we use have, we talk about possessions, right? When you say, I have a dog, I have an apartment. And also we talk about features or characteristics of things as a part of that thing. For example, when you say, my table has 4 legs, as a part of the table. For example, the cat has food. That is his possession. Now, when you talk about existence of things or its presence in a location, then we use there is and there are. So we are not talking about possessions. We are talking about presence of things in a specific location. So for example, the same food of a cat, we are not giving you information about the owner of this food, but we want to say that this food is present in a location. So we would say there is food for the cat. We talk about existence of the food and its presence in the kitchen so the cat can eat. Here is something that some Spanish speakers sometimes say. They say have food. Imagine a situation. You go to an event and you meet a friend and the friend says, hey, have food. What he was trying to say is there is food. There is food. Go, enjoy. We never say have food when we talk about the presence or existence of the food, in this case, in the kitchen. Right? We use our new grammatically correct structure. There is food. There's food. Now, the next typical mistake that people make when they try to talk about existence of things is they use the word exist. But unfortunately, exist does not work in all the situations, and we are going to learn when it works and when it doesn't. As we just learned, when we want to talk about the presence of things in a specific location, we use there is or there are. But when we talk about the existence of things in the universe, on the planet, we use the verb exist. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. Here we have a ghost. What we can say, ghosts don't exist. So we're talking about the universe and we say they don't exist. But if you want to communicate the presence of a ghost in a specific location, you can say there is a ghost in my house. Then we are not talking about universal existence of ghosts. We talk about its presence in a specific location. We wouldn't say a ghost exists in my house. No, that would not be correct. But the most common mistake that especially Spanish speakers make is when they start a sentence with exist and they say exist a ghost. That is never correct. So take it as a rule. You can never start a sentence with the word exist. Let's have a look at a couple of more examples with the word exist, so then we can feel how we can actually use the word exist. For example, this room number doesn't exist. Or one more example, this problem exists in many hotels. I hope it's clearer now for you. And let's move to one more common mistake when you try to start your sentence with is instead of there is. Let's learn the difference between them. We use is or it is, the towel is, the hotel is, the room is. When we describe something, is or it is describes this thing. There is or there are introduces that thing. Let's have a look at two examples. Here is a phone, right? If I want to use it is, it's because I want to describe this thing, and I say it's a phone. Also, I could say it's a black phone, it's old, it's cheap, or it's expensive, whatever. So you see, all its sentences describe something. In this case, the phone. Now, if I want to talk about the presence of this phone in a location, I would say there's a phone in my room. Do you see the difference? You never start with is a phone in my room, for example. We never start a positive sentence in English with the word is. Never. So now we are done with typical mistakes. I hope it is very clear for you when we use there is and when we use have, when we use is, when we use exist, right? And now we are just going to focus on there is and there are. And we are going to learn how to make questions with this construction. To make a question with there is or there are is actually super simple. To say things, we say there is, but to ask a question, we say is there. Is there. The same thing happens when we talk about the plural form. So there was there are, and now it is are there. Very simple, right? Here are a couple of examples. Is there an elevator in this hotel? Is there a pharmacy near here? Are there any problems with your room? Are there many rooms in this hotel? Are there any events this week at the hotel? You see, to make questions with there is and there are is very simple because we just change there is to is there or there are to are there, and we have our question. The rest of the sentence is exactly the same. We don't need to change anything else. Back to our common mistakes. Some people, if they want to know if there's gym in the hotel, they may ask, have gym? Is gym? None of these options are correct. The only way to ask this question would be to say, is there a gym? Now that we know how to make questions, let's learn how to make a negative form of this structure. And it is also very, very simple. So our positive structure was there is. To make it negative, we just add no, and we say there is no. For example, we say there is a pool here, or there is no pool here. If it's a plural form, we say there are. In the negative form, we say there are no. So we say there are towels in the bathroom, or there are no towels in the bathroom. Quite simple, right? Another way to make negative sentence with there is and there are is if you put not. But be aware, because we would say there is, there isn't. It is also absolutely grammatically correct and beautiful. There are, they aren't, there are towels, there aren't towels. I would say the most common way to say these things in a negative form is if you say there are no, there is no. Right? But sometimes you also can hear there isn't, there aren't. Here we have something to pay attention to. As we just learned, it's absolutely fine to say there isn't, there aren't. But you are not going to open this word and you are not going to say there is not, there are not. This thing is not used in English for some reason. Who knows why? If you know why, let me know in the comments. Also, it's fine to say there is no or there are no, and it's also fine if you said there is no, there are no. Although the last one, there are no, I also haven't seen written like this because it's quite complicated, so I don't recommend you to do that. But if you pronounce it, you can say there are no, there are no, there are no. Now we're going to listen to some examples with this expression. I would like you to pay attention. First, we will listen to the complete dialogue, and then I want you to repeat phrase after the speaker. Let's start.
There is a problem with the AC in my room. Is there something you can do about it?
I'm sorry to hear that. Let me see if there is another room available.
There is a problem with the AC in my room. Is there something you can do about it?
I'm sorry to hear that. Let me see if there is another room available.
And now repeat after them.
There is a problem with the AC in my room. Is there something you can do about it?
I'm sorry to hear that. Let me see if there is another room available.
Okay, and before we finish, I would like you to check your knowledge. This is our final quiz. There will be 5 sentences for you to check and to see if there are any mistakes in those sentences. Let's see how many you can find. So I'm going to show you the sentences now, pause the video, and find the mistakes. Then come back to me and I will tell you where the mistakes are. All right, so now you are back, which means you did your homework, and let's find out how many sentences are with a mistake here. Sentence number 1 is wrong. There's a mistake. Did you find it? The mistake is in the first word, exist. We don't start the sentence with exist, never. We would say there is a problem with key card. Number 2 is correct. There is no problem here. There's a minibar in the room. Number 3 is wrong. Did you find the mistake here? And the mistake is in the word is, because we have the plural noun pillows. So we say there are. There are no pillows on my bed. Number 4 is correct. We can say the hotel has a gym, but also, if you want, you can say there is a gym in the hotel. That is also completely right. And the last sentence, free hotels don't exist, it is also correct. So, there were only 2 mistakes in the sentences. I hope you found both of them. And now you have a very clear understanding on the topic of there is and there are in English. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments down below and I will gladly answer them for you. For now, that's all. I will see you in the next video.